Hey guys, this is Biologically Speaking, and today's episode we'll be talking about
True,
implants.
you humans. This is the age of cyborgs, and I am going to take over the human race. Ha ha ha.
This guy started again. What is this whole cyborg thing you're doing? Yeah,
Bro, I think he's trying to become Indiran 3.0, bro. Hey, bro, Pudhiya Manida, please come back to Earth, bro.
come
I
back, come back.
am back to Earth. Oh, yeah. Hey, guys. Yeah, I'm back to the Earth, guys.
Yeah, so, bro, what were you like trying to do, bro? Like, are you trying to like become a cyborg or something?
Yeah, so it's all depending on today's topic, right? So today's topic, we're going to speak about cybernetic people or cyborgs. So what is actually a cyborg, right? So cyborgs are people who have electronic implants, which are implanted within their bodies in order to enhance a few abilities in their bodies. So they can have magnetic implants, brain implants, or like any other implants, right? So which can make them a step above the human race.
Right. But before we become all like, like the victor of Justice League and all that, right? Let's just talk about some basic implants, like take some real world examples. First thing that comes to my mind is a magnetic implant.
Yeah, magnetic implants are so popular. No, I've seen so many people actually put implants like in their chest and in their like wrist area. So they believe that no, they can sense the direction through that. So whenever they face the north or something, it starts vibrating. So they believe that they'll never get lost.
Bro, but what's the point of that, bro? I still don't like. It's like until unless you get lost somewhere, no, you keep trekking every day, and then it makes sense. But is there any?
I think
Get
you can like
lost.
stick your hand to the fridge. That's it, like a magnet.
Wow, this is the only thing you could think of with magnetic implants.
Easily opening the fridge with your own hands without like really holding the handle. I think that's the implication I'm finding here.
Right, but let's talk about a more useful implant. I think RFID and NFC chips are like. I think I see a future in them at least.
Yeah, that's right. So nowadays you see a lot of people using RFID and NFC chips, which are getting implanted in their hands, right? Especially NFC chips, right? So they are very easy to program, and then you can actually program to open doors or car doors or like even public transport, right? Like most of the public transport now uses NFC cards. So if these NFC cards were actually implanted in your hands, then your entire transport system will be very easy for you, right? So I see a lot of public getting a lot of useful impact with the NFC implants in their bodies.
Yeah, you mentioned these things. No, I like. There's this person also who invented the start. Like he founded the company called Dangerous Things, right? So they do these. They surgically, insert these kind of implants into your body. So that's also one of the growing companies in terms of biohacking community as such.
Right. Oh, that's the dude who made a smart gun, right? Where only when the particular person holds the gun, you'll be able to fire it. Otherwise, you won't be able to fire it at all. That's some cool shit.
Oh, that's so cool.
So, but what I see, like at least in my life, is I can finally like get through RV college's security gates easily, bro.
That's not gonna
That's
happen
right.
anytime soon. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
bro. Like if I have like a NFC implant within me, like security can no longer stop me, bro. Like if I don't have my ID card.
Yeah, that's there. But how about like you could use these implants for like some magic or something? I don't know. Like I read one story where she has like some 26 implants inside her body and she's like using it for magical shows and all. So that's again one more cool thing, no? Like magic will become more realistic, I feel.
Yeah, I think that's one of the implications. So, like, what if she uses a lot of LED lights in her body, right? Like, make an LED implant all over her body and light it up, so she might look like a god or something.
There was this guy, no, who developed something called firefly implants. So it kind of like at least it's not like in the daytime, but during the night the implant starts glowing. So if you could do this magic in the night, probably that's a successful show right there.
I can use him as a bed lamp.
Okay, that's getting to the weird territory. But anyway, moving
Yeah.
on, like, let's take to some prosthetic side of bio implants. Like I think the first thing that comes to our minds is like being able to see things that normal or our visual spectrum won't be able to normally capture. Like say X-ray vision or radio RFID and stuff like that. Are there any real world examples of this?
Yeah, so there was this one person whose name is Neil Harbisson. So what actually happened to him is he had this disease called achromatospia. So what essentially happens in this disease is that his eyes cannot see color. So he's completely colorblind. It can only see dark gray to black. So those are the colors that he can possibly see. So what he did was he teamed up with a few scientists and created a device where he could connect it to his ears, and it had an antenna where it detects the light, and you can actually see, or you can actually hear to the color that the antenna is actually detecting. So further, what he did was he kept upgrading it, right? So the first upgrade he did was he started making it surgically implanted into his brain. So the earphones part was implanted into his bone conduction part, right? So, and his antenna used to get implanted into his medulla oblongata part. So it sort of protrudes out towards his face, and now he can like see things, or it's basically like hearing things, right? So he can hear colors that he's actually looking at rather than becoming completely colorblind. Then the third upgrade, what he did was he started upgrading it to see more towards ultraviolet rays, and then infrared rays and things like that. So now he can actually look at things that we humans have not even looked at, right? Or rather, he can hear things to things that we have not even looked at.
Yeah, he's like an upgraded version of us humans, right? Like, and when you mentioned like hearing the colors, right? I was reminded of this story also. So a guy called Rich Lee also, he had implanted like headphones in his trachea. It's in the ear. So, and he also did like implants in his pelvic region and all. So he was pretty famous at that time. So it's like he doesn't need phone or like to receive anything. He can just like tap on his ears and all, and he'll be able to communicate with people.
Yeah, that sounds like telepathically talking, right? Like Charles Xavier from X-Men. So you can just get into people's mind and say, hello, what's up? And it'll be damn creepy also sometimes. One thing is that if I get to hack these things, right, I'm just going to like hack everyone's bone conduction implants and start putting Bhojpuri songs. That's my evil idea, actually.
Bro, that sounds like a really fun idea to do.
Yeah, everyone's going to keep listening to Raja, 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 and it'll be so irritating.
Yeah, right. But moving on, like, what's the scene about like hand prosthetics and all? No? Like beyond its medical applications, like, are we seeing any real life examples of people having superhuman strength and all that?
Yeah, so like when it comes to hand prosthetics, right? One thing that I see is people are using their hands as speakers. So they have a small inbuilt speaker. So they use it to listen to music and things like that. I've seen a few things like that.
And there's also this drummer, right, who faced an accident apparently due to some fatal accident. And what happened was he had to amputate his whole arm. And later he had a brilliant idea of somehow compositely like include his drumsticks along with his prosthetic hand and being able to like play it in according to his whims. So he's able to like craft newer beats and stuff because he has two more drumsticks in one hand and one in the other. So totally three drumsticks which he can use to make like new beats and stuff.
That's the best thing, like making your disability no more a disability is the best thing you can do. Also, there's this one more like story that I came across. It just popped into my head right now. Like when we were discussing about like the firefly tattoo and all I had mentioned that time, I just came across there's something called biosensor ink. So that's developed by the Technical University of Munich. So there it's like the tattoo, no, it changes color according to like the sensor. So like there are like three sensors. So one is like the pH sensor. So if you guys remember our litmus paper test, right, how acid to base could be detected by change of color. So this kind of does that. The pH sensor, based on your acidity and basicity, it will change the color. One like detects the glucose level, so you could like monitor your sugar levels. And the other was like protein carrier albumin and also to detect the levels of those. So it changes color according to the condition.
Oh, dude, that has like cool as medical applications, at least in the short term. But beyond that, what I can think of like in my life where I can use is like so you guys remember these chemistry experiments where we used to measure pH of certain liquids and titrations and all, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so what you could do is all you have to do is put your finger inside like a certain test liquid and you can immediately find pH, bro. Like you don't have to struggle through your entire process like while doing the experiment and stuff.
Right. So I was just thinking, what if you wanted to check out for like hydrochloric acid and like, yeah, you casually put your finger inside and then when you lift it up, it's not even there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like moving on to like some more like I would say futuristic things. How about like if you could have implants in your like brain or your nervous system or your spinal cord? Is there like research going on around that field?
Yeah. So right now, like neural implants are mostly restricted to medical applications itself. Like there are so many locomotive or neurodegenerative disorders, right? Which like disables people from moving their muscles itself. Like they're totally like they cannot move at all. So there's this one company called Utah Labs which uses like an implant which contains like several electrodes and it can detect like electrical signals of your brain of a particular region of your brain. So what these guys have been working on is being able to enable a totally disabled person to be able to use computer by just his thoughts. Like if he say he thinks of opening a certain file, right, he can immediately open it like just because he thought of it. So that's what these guys are currently doing. But the bigger problem that they're currently facing is that there's a requirement of open brain surgery. That is one big implication. But there's another company called Synchron who have developed a stent-based technology. So stent is basically a long wire, which you can insert it into your body, and basically you don't have to have like a complete open brain surgery or stuff like that. So you just need to make a small incision hole, and you can just insert your probe or your implant, and you can like carefully put it on the location you want to. And these are some tech that I have found actually.
I wish Stephen Hawking had such tech, dude, because he was such a brilliant person. Like he had to do more work, right? So I wish he had such tech and he could sort of impart his knowledge to us.
Bro,
In a
yeah,
better way.
talking about Stephen Hawking, right? So his final book called Grand Design, right? You know how he wrote it? They use this technology where, so there's this one muscle in his entire body, which was present in his face that could move. So what the scientists did was they made a IR sensor, okay, which can detect the movement of that muscle, and he was able to write using that. So using that sensor and based on his muscle movement, he wrote the entire book out of that.
Oh, that's crazy, dude.
When you guys were talking about these things, right? So I also came across this Elon Musk Neuralink. So I think it's very similar to what Uta Arrays are doing. So like he's working to control like the brain functions. They're trying to get the data from it and try to control the data. So presently, actually, he did a live demonstration on pigs presently. But again, human trials will take a long time. But it did show some positive results. So I think the future looks good regarding your brain implants.
Yeah, that brain implants are like really scary sometimes, right? So I was just watching this movie called Chappie, where the entire consciousness of a person is transferred to a data chip, and then that data chip is then transferred to a robo. I mean, it's like becoming immortal, right? In some certain way, because your consciousness is what makes what you are, and if that becomes an immortal chip, or if it's into an immortal being, then I think that gives you an immortality spell, right?
Yeah, that
Right,
would
if it's-
totally become immoral, bro.
Right, but I think if it's in a robo, I think it will still not be that big of a problem. What if? So it's like, what if they you could put it one person's dead person's consciousness into another person? I think that will be a bigger I don't know, moral conflict. I feel, because it'll be a fight between two consciousness, right?
Yeah, you exactly remind me about a game called Cyberpunk, bro, where because of certain events, a person has had to put a immortality chip into him. So what this immortality chip contained was a complete personality of a rock star. Okay, so you are the main character, and you have this chip inside you. And every time you start, like thinking of certain things or dreaming, this person appears actually, like, and he starts influencing the decisions you make. or even the basic decision that you take with regards to food, right? He starts controlling it.
Yeah, this sounds damn cool and all, but don't you guys think like if you put so much chips in like into a body and like connect these things a lot into your IoT and all, won't it have like a lot of consequences like in the future?
Yeah,
I had a thought.
in the short term, what I see is a lot of immune reactions happening against the implant that you put, right? Because it's a totally different material. But still, like right now, recently they found a new result where apparently, the melanin, right, that makes your skin color. Apparently, it's
Correct.
electrically conductive. So they were thinking as to like if we can use melanin as a material to make these electrical implants instead of typical silicon or like plastic and stuff like that.
Kind of
Uh,
using your own skin cells to make the device so it won't be immunoreactive. So
Yeah,
you will
correct,
accept it.
correct. And I think one more bigger problem is how do you power up a certain implant? Like how do you can't put battery, right? Because battery has a lot of dangerous chemicals within it, and you cannot always trust it, right? Because one day definitely it might leak out and it will cause severe poisoning to your body. So that is one more, I think, a big challenge that the current cybernetics is facing actually.
Right. So also it's like as you mentioned, you can have like metal poisoning and all if it leaks, and if you're meant to like connect all this to IoT or internet or we bring in those kind of things, there's like more possibility even like hack these implants, right? So if that happens, I think it'll be a big disaster if you can hack your own biohacks. That again we'll have to see. Like we have to get that control of technology.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. So there are a lot of disadvantages to what's going to happen if you have an implant also. So Shankar, what do you think the entire world is going to move towards these implants? So what are your opinions?
Bro, so what I feel about implants is they are a good thing because we as a society are progressing towards like a space age civilization, right? So we are bound to face and our climate is like changing like rapidly, like because of our greenhouse effect and stuff. So we need like implants or certain other man-made items that can enable us to survive better in such extreme conditions. So I definitely see a lot of opportunity in implants, but what I see in the future, right, like the best, most optimum way of bringing an implant is through like nanotech, say using nanobots to, actually like enable us to bring superhuman strength, like, by, artificially making mitochondria to pump out more energy and stuff like that. So in that way, I'm really optimistic about this implant tech, bro.
Yeah, so talking about nanobots, right? It reminds me of the movie Bloodshot, where Vin Diesel is made up of nanobots and then he has superhuman strength and things like that. So moving on to Mugdha, what is your opinion on this entire situation of biohacking through implants?
Right. So what I think is like if we go for like more safer implants, I think we can presently start off with like as we had discussed, like magnetic implants or RFID implants. In future, it may have an effect because just like how we are so accustomed to like digital payments right now, so that we don't go for anything cash and these things. So in future, if like cards and those things could come into a chip inside our body, I wouldn't mind with those kind of implants. But yeah, brain implants and neural implants, at least like in the recent future, I think we may not be able to like have a positive this thing. So I think with the future technology, if it improves and if it is really safe to use those, I think I'm all for it. I'm ready to take these implants.
That's good actually. But that both of you really want to take implants. So coming up to my opinion, right? So biohacking through implants has good and bad. So the good part is that your life is going to become easier, right? Like NFC or RFID implants, it's going to be easier with your public transport or your credit card being a part of your body and things like that. But one thing is that when it comes to neural implants, right? So I have a feeling that neural implants will get controlled by the government. So if people can actually understand your thoughts and try to gauge your thoughts, right? So it will be more easier for the government to understand how a person is going to become a criminal. And before he becomes a criminal, they're going to catch him or they're going to arrest him, right? So that might be something that is very unfortunate or that is very unpredictable. And so this entire thought process came to my mind when I was watching this anime called Psychopaths, where every person has a psychopath or a rating according to what their thought level is. So if they have a very high psychopath, it means that they're going crazy or they're going to become mad in some time, and so hopefully they get arrested by the police or something like that happens. So this is what my opinion is.
Oh, right. Bro, this is a damn thought-provoking idea, dude. Like when we think of neural implants and stuff like that. And with that, this episode was quite intuitive actually, because we were thinking of so many amazing ideas, like whether it's dual consciousness or even basic ideas such as NFC chips that can make a big difference to our society as a whole, right? And with that, I would like to conclude this third episode of Biologically Speaking. Thank you for listening, and please do follow us for more episodes. Thank you.